Coming up on Lexington Now, a Lexington firefighter is in the running to be Men's Health Magazine's ultimate guy, senior interns, and Hampton Court. This and more up next on this week's edition of Lexington Now. Roberts, and welcome to another edition of Lexington Now, where we take a look at the news that shapes your urban county government. When Tim Bonifacio first joined the Lexington Fire Department, he never imagined that his love for fitness and healthy eating would strike such a chord. But now he has a chance to take his message to a national audience.
So let's see, back here we got my office.
Firefighter Tim Bonifacio and his fellow firefighters save lives every day. So you may be shocked to find out
The #1 leading cause for death in firefighters is cardiac arrest.
Bonifacio says life-saving can be very hazardous to your health.
And the reason for that is because the fire is so intense. You know, for 15 to 20 minutes, you're in 70 pounds plus of gear. It's a superheated environment. You're breathing air, not your own. You're pulling this heavy hose with water in it. Oftentimes you're crawling, you know, you're not really walking, you're crawling, you're trying to find the seat of the fire. You know, a lot of adrenaline, your blood's pumping, you're sweating, and so it's just really intense.
To help snuff out the danger associated with the physical stress of firefighting, fitness is being pushed to the forefront.
Some of the guys I ride with, they've gotten in better shape. They're packing their lunch now, meal prepping. There's a lot of guys on the fire department, though, that are really into fitness. And so we all kind of come together and help promote it. We just have a lot of good leadership. Some of the chiefs, I see them at the gym every time I go. And so the whole department, I think, really, Lexington really has a great hold on fitness and trying to promote it.
Bonifacio's 4-alarm fitness routine is getting him national attention from Men's Health Magazine. He is in the running to be Men's Health Magazine's ultimate guy. It's an award going to a physically fit man with a cause.
There was thousands of guys around the country who applied, and then they just called me recently and told me I made top 3. So here we go, New York City.
If Bonifacio wins, he hopes to inspire firefighters across the U.S. like he has here in Lexington.
So let's all of us stay in good shape, eat clean, and have a long, healthy career.
For more of Bonifacio's story and why he decided to become a firefighter, you can log on to the city's website. It's lexingtonky.gov. GTV3 producer Cynthia Bryant loves giving tours of GTV3 and talking about how the station has evolved over the years. When she came on board back in 1986, GTV3 was a one-room, one-format government access channel. Now, during her last tour with the senior intern program, she decided to let the seniors produce a segment for Lexington Now. And here's what they had to say.
Basically, it's a program for folks over, I believe, 65 years of age who get a chance to look behind the scenes in most of the departments in city government. I found out about it through my wife, thank you, Mary, and I didn't really have any expectations coming in. But I've been very, very pleasantly surprised, I must say. The breadth and scope of so many departments. For example, the traffic folks, that there's somebody actually watching the streets. They're on a monitor. How the lights are set up and how when your car pulls up, there's a computer going to determine how long you're going to sit in place. Going out to the corrections center to realize that we have 1,700 or so people incarcerated from this small city. To hear that there is actually a plan in place for growth and development, and the fact that there's a green belt that's going to be in place in perpetuity. Listening to the district attorney, the chief of police, the fire the fire folks, and getting down into the Canine Corps, the Equine Corps, and so on and so forth. I had no idea about a lot of these things. And then the one thing that came up that really struck me was that over and over, people would say in leadership positions that the central problem that we have in this town, that the biggest consumer of our financial resources is the drug problem. And what it seems to me is that it's so very difficult to get your hands around that problem and snuff it out. And I'm not talking at the interdiction level, I'm talking about the user level. And so that's something that really struck me hard, and I hope that somehow or the other, we're apparently a model city for growth and development. I'm hoping that we can become a model city for stomping out drug use among young people, and in this curse that seems to be permeating our country today.
Of the services, the police and fire, which one did you enjoy the most?
The police, just for all the work they do, how involved they are in the community. And I think that was the biggest thing with the whole program as a whole, was that these folks that we entrust to do our business, they live in Lexington and have a vested interest in getting it right.
Would you tell us how you got involved with the seniors internship program here at Lexington Fayette Urban Health and Government?
I'd just be more than happy to. I go to the senior center, and they came down there and asked if people would like to come to the senior intern program, and several of us signed up. Also, some people had already been through it, and they were very complimentary of it and said we should do it, and I really enjoyed it.
For more information about this, you can log on to the city's website, lexingtonky.gov. And coming up after the break, we'll tell you about one of Lexington's best kept secrets.
Way to go, Lexington! Participation and collection totals from the Rosie Recycling Program are at all-time highs. Now it's time for a quick reminder on what materials can go in your Rosie Recycling container. Paper and cardboard products, canned products with contents removed. We accept milk, juice, soda, and laundry plastic bottles and jugs. And glass products. No Pyrex, ceramics, or plate glass is allowed. Place only metal cans in the Rosie. Don't place other metals such as car parts, cookware, propane tanks, chains, or garden hoses in the Rosie. These items cannot be recycled by LFUCG and slow down processing efficiency. For more information about the Rosie Recycling Program, please call LexCall 311 or log on to lexingtonky.gov/waste management.
Welcome back to the show. We all know that Lexington has a rich and long history, lots of secrets, and lots of hidden gems. One of those hidden gems is a north side neighborhood called Hampton Court. We talked to Downtown Lexington Corporation's Catherine Minton about this neighborhood, and we're showing it to you in our newest history segment.
Hi, I'm Catherine, and welcome to this edition of Lexington History. Where am I? Find out, coming up next. for joining us. We're taking a stroll back in time to when Lexington was first founded. And we start here on the north side of Lexington. The North Side is a historic neighborhood immediately to the north of Lexington's urban center, and its history intertwines with the city. In June 1775, a group of frontiersmen led by William McConnell established a camp at a spring near Elkhorn Creek. There was talk of a Revolutionary War battle at Lexington, Massachusetts, the previous spring, and that led to the naming of a new settlement, Lexington. While the early settlement was not maintained, Robert Patterson built a garrison west of the original campsite 4 years later, near what is now the corner of Main and Mill Streets, and the name stuck. In January 1780, the small group of settlers signed a citizens' compact and divided what is now Lexington's inner core into 87 half-acre lots, 5 lots to a block. They called them outlots, which included what is now much of the north side, and they were 5 acres each. Lots were drawn, town trustees were elected, and John Higby's Tavern at the corner of Limestone and High Streets was designated a meeting place for town businesses, and the development of Lexington was secured. A business boom in the 1880s brought rapid expansion to the north side. Many of the homes along both West 2nd and West 3rd Streets date from this period. Much of the block of West 3rd Street was constructed between 1887 and 1890, some earlier and some later. 448 West 3rd, for example, is an Italianate home built in 1872, while 455 was designed in a Georgian Federal Revival style and built in 1910. And now for the feature and real purpose of this program. When you think of Hampton Court, what comes to mind? England, the Old Country, Henry VIII? All very real possibilities. But did you know there's a Hampton Court right in your backyard? Right here in Lexington? Well, there is. Come on, I'll show you. Hampton Court, jutting off the north side of West 3rd Street, has its own unique history. Construction of the first luxury apartment in Lexington began here in 1907, and the court continued to develop until 1936, when it reached 4th Street. The development was built on the site of the Lexington Orphans' Home. The home house children made homeless by the cholera epidemic of 1833. Cholera killed 10% of Lexington's more than 6,000 residents. Attorney Charles H. Stoll began development in 1907 after an orphan asylum was raised. He built the first luxury apartment building in Lexington, known as Stoll Flats, number 310. The court is named for Hampton Halley Lyle, Stoll's son-in-law. In 1909, Colonel Milton Young, former owner of McGrathiana Farm, bought the court and divided it into 25 lots. In 1910, Young contracted for the Hanover number 75, designed by well-known architects Messrs. Rowe and Giannini. The court developed until 1936. And the 4 houses on the 4th Street end are attributed to Warfield Gratz, including his home. The stone gates at either end of the court are in Tudor Revival style, listed on the National Register of Historic Places.
For more information about this neighborhood and other historic places in Lexington, you can log on to the city's website, lexingtonky.gov. Well, if you're like me, it seems that every time you go out and about, you see orange cones and do not enter signs everywhere. And that's because summer is high season for construction. And we want to make sure that you take the steps that you should to make sure that you can keep yourself safe, as well as those workers in the construction zones.
Road maintenance and construction commonly occurs during warm weather months. This spring, the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet is stressing the importance of work zone safety.
In our area, you typically see the majority of your work zones during the spring, summer, and through the early fall. And it's basically weather related. That's when we have the temperatures needed for the laying of asphalt and earthwork and things of that nature. So that's when motorists really need to be paying attention to what's going on around them.
During the past 5 years in work zone crashes, more than 4,400 people died, 85% of which involved the driver or passenger, and 200,000 people were injured. Drivers are the most frequent fatality in work zone crashes, where rear-end collisions or running into the rear of a slowing or stopped vehicle are the most common type of incident. Advanced signage, including programmable dynamic message signs, barrels, and flaggers are often used to inform motorists of work zones. But no two work zones are alike, even though statistics show that fatal work zone crashes happen more frequently on roads with speed limits greater than 50 miles per hour.
All too often, people traveling through a work zone, they disregard the reduced speed signs, and they're not paying attention to their surroundings, so they're unaware of what's happening, and that's when you see your accidents. And it's typically neither one nor the other. It's usually a combination of both speed and driver inattention.
Next time you encounter a maintenance or construction project on the roadway, remember these tips. Stay alert and minimize distractions. Try to avoid changing radio stations, using a mobile phone, eating, or other activities. Keep your headlights on. Pay attention to the road, watch brake lights on vehicles ahead, and be prepared to react. Merge into the proper lane. Change lanes well before any lane closures. Don't tailgate. Obey the posted speed limit. Workers can be present just feet away. And remember, speeding fines in work zones are doubled for a reason. Change lanes safely. If flaggers are present, follow instructions closely. And finally, expect the unexpected.
The important thing to remember when you're approaching a work zone or going through a work zone is just slow down. Be prepared for a delay. If you reduce your speed by 5 or 10 miles an hour, it's not going to keep you from your destination any appreciable amount of time. You'll get there in about the same amount of time. So be patient, don't tailgate, and just be aware of what's going on.
And whether you're driving carefully through construction zones or trying to avoid them altogether, you want to know how traffic may affect your trip, and that's where the Division of Government Communications has got you covered, especially in the mornings with our show, Crosstown Traffic. The show airs live weekday mornings from 6:30 to 8:30 and gives you the most up-to-date traffic news and even a street view with our live cameras so you can see where the delays are before you even leave the house. Remember, that's Crosstown Traffic only on GTV3. Now here's a look at this week's lane closure report. And remember, you can get traffic updates 24/7 by following us on Twitter. Our handle is @LexRex. The Urban County Council is back from summer recess, and that means they've got a busy schedule ahead. Here's a quick look at some of the events that are on the calendar, but for a complete listing of meetings and events, you can log on to the city's website. You know where to find us, lexingtonky.gov. Celebrating its 40th year, the Woodland Arts Fair once again brings some of the country's most talented artists to Woodland Park. This free event will take place from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. on Saturday, August 15th, and from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. on Sunday, the 16th. The original works of accomplished artists will be on display, along with live musical performances and good old Kentucky foods and a craft beer garden. Well, that is all for this edition of Lexington Now. We'll return next week with more news from your urban county government. But in the meantime, you can keep up with what we're doing by following us on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. For the staff and producers at GTV3, I'm Sherelle Roberts, and that's it for now.